Hi guys. Everyone good today? What day of the week is it today? Thursday. I'm going to go for Thursday. Hi Meg. Hi Lucy. Hi Amy. How are you all today? Hi Emma. Are you feeling nervous on behalf of your husband? Payday! Oh! What are you going to buy? What are you going to peruse? Hi Ash, we'll let a few more people join, get this ball rolling, and then we will get you on. So keep an eye out for Mr. Posty today or tomorrow. What is going on? Mr. Posty has been today, and I got a lovely box of cardboard boxes. I'm sure there's many people out there that would understand how much that actually pleases me, a box of cardboard boxes. You're good, thank you. Oh, everybody seems good. Everybody I've spoken to today seems a lot brighter at the moment. We all felt a bit meh last week, didn't we? But definitely there's been another change. I don't know if it's the weather's good again or what, but you all seem a lot happy. Hello, Australia! How are you? I say Australia. I presume, unless you mean Austria or somewhere, I'm going to just say hello. Are we looking for ambassadors? We're never not looking for ambassadors, but if you actually want to join in on a live that I do with Ria Freeman on a Tuesday, that's where we generally discuss what we are looking for with ambassadors. And first and foremost, we only support those that support Equiboodle, of which there's a huge handful of them on here, Grace. So do check us out on there, and do make sure you show Equiboodle loads of support and get you on our radar. That is the key to it. Get on the radar of the people that you want to support you. The joys of boxes. I love a good cardboard box. Every weekend I do a little cardboard box order, and it brings me so much joy. Tomorrow's post. I'm super intrigued. This is going to be a good one. We've got I'm going to say very lovely Ash joining us. Oh, he's just requested, because he's Emma's husband. So he's got to be nice, because Emma wouldn't choose a non-nice husband, would she? So feel free to ping him loads of messages, although I've been messaged with so many questions for poor Ash. He might not even get a chance to have a chat to us about who he is. Australia is correct. We're doing great over here. How about yous? We're doing better this week is probably the best way I can say it. We are getting through. Grace is waiting to hear about her horse, who is currently having surgery. Oh, sweetheart. Well, I hope this can just take your mind off it for a bit. Definitely join us on Tuesdays. That's basically always the theme of Tuesdays, is because obviously there's a lot of people that would like to work with Equiboodle, and we'd like to share the love, but we do it in a way that's fair to everyone. Oh, people haven't stopped thinking about you, Grace. Ask him what he did 48 hours before our wedding day. Logging it, 48 hours. Do you want me just to go straight in with that? Can that be his opening line? Lots of questions for the farrier. Let's get the farrier on. Let's relieve him from his pain. He's probably got to go and shoot some horses. Emma Berry eventing, it's already been on her live. This is her husband, a farrier.
There we go.
Right. Hi.
Hello.
Right.
How are you? You all right?
I apologise that I'm going to be really cheeky, because my husband's called Ash. So I'm just going to
I was told, yeah.
Yeah. Hi, Ashy. Does Emma talk to you like that?
Not really, no. She doesn't talk to me that positively.
No, nor do I. Normally I'm like, Ash. Is it a bit more like that for you? Ash.
Generally, yeah. But that's because I'm not in the house. I'm in the office normally. So she's trying to find me.
I love that picture behind you. That's.
She wanted me to take it down. I was like, no chance.
No, that's amazing. Where were you when you had that done?
That was Thorpe Park about 2 years ago, I think it was.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I know. It really captures her features.
I'm not saying that. It's a good one of
Yeah, I look slimmer now than I did back then, thankfully.
She wanted you to take it down.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she was like, you can't have that. That's where it normally lives. I haven't put it up there just for today. That's just where it normally lives.
Oh, I love it. No, I've got a door in the background of mine. We're not posh here. We need to see the real you.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Thank you so much for joining us. You're our first man.
I know. I feel slightly privileged and sort of the weight of the world, the shoulders, world on my shoulders. Sorry.
What would you rather us ask you about being a man or being a farrier?
I did hear the end of your chat yesterday when you sort of like was introducing what was happening today, and I was thinking, how can I answer what's it like to be a man? It's quite a difficult question, that.
Well, I won't ask it. I won't.
Yeah.
I can't say that other people won't ask, Ash, but you know, I would definitely.
No, sure.
Who knows what might happen? How are you anyway? How is it being with your wife 24/7 for the last 6 weeks? Magical?
Well, to be fair, I'm working like normal, you know. Not much has really changed for me as a farrier. Anyway, I leave the house at 6:30. I make sure I don't get home till 7.
You make
so
sure.
I only have to put up for 4 hours, and I go back to bed.
Oh, and so
pretty much, yeah.
You've been able to carry on working and maintain social distancing, have you?
Yes, thankfully. I mean, obviously, as you know, I mainly work in racing, so I actually don't deal with a lot of people directly. The horses are there for me just to kick on with. And as for like going to people's private yards, shoeing eventers and dressage horses and people like that, generally they're not there. Especially now, anyway, we're making sure they're not there. So I'm just there. It's just me and the horse, basically.
Yeah. So have you always been a farrier that deals with race horses, or did you have to build up to that? I'm not really sure if there's a hierarchy involved in the world of farrier.
Not really, no. I mean, it all starts from your apprenticeship. I mean, I started my apprenticeship as soon as I turned 17, and that apprenticeship was served in Newmarket, which again is racehorses, and that's what it's always been, really. I know a lot of apprentices that were at college with me. They were doing like your cobs and ponies as their livelihoods, and it's just whatever you make of it, really.
So that's actually, you've gone straight into it. Why did you choose to become a farrier? Do you love horses? Do you love horses' feet, or do you love the lifestyle? What appeals about becoming a farrier? Is it?
Yeah, people have asked me why I've done this job. So my uncle was a farrier.
Right.
And in the 6 weeks holiday as a kid, I used to go around with him. Now, he didn't do racehorses. He was going around doing people's ponies, show jumpers, leisure horses, etc. And from the ages of like 12 to 15, I was terrified of horses. Absolutely terrified. I had my own pony. I never rode it, so I was scared of it.
No way.
Yeah, honestly, this is a hand on my heart. This is absolute. And I just had no interest in it whatsoever. And I remember having a careers meeting at school in year 10 or 11. And they were like, what do you want to be when you, like, have you got any ideas what you want to do when you leave school? And I was sitting there and I was like, I was a bit of a leery lad, to be fair, at school. And I was like, yeah, I'll just be a farrier, why not? And they had to ask me, how do you spell that? Because it's such an uncommon thing, growing up in a city. Yeah. And that was it, really. I literally left school and went straight into being a farrier.
I love that. Satanic. I think that's how you pronounce it. Satanic. I'm not surprised you might have been put off by ponies when you were younger. Do you still have any ponies at the moment that are Satan's own?
No, I don't own my own horse at all now. I had one, unfortunately, isn't with me no more 3 years ago. And then I sort of thought that's enough, I haven't really got time. It's not fair on them,
No, fair enough. So, but would you still ride nowadays if you could?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be quite happy to jump on board one if the opportunity was there. I know the wife keeps making me want to ride one of hers, but I'm not interested to ride at all. I do it for a dare. It's no, I've done charity rides and stuff in the past, but it's just not something that's really.
She's already telling you to be careful. Okay,
I will do.
We'll veer away.
I saw that.
I feel the pressure that Emma's watching.
Yeah.
knows what it must be like for you. So you chose to become a farrier because you were asked by your school teacher, what do you want to become? You're a bit of a jack the lad, and you went farrier. She went, how do you spell that?
Pretty much, yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
I love that. And the rest is history. So you were an apprentice in Newmarket?
Yes, yeah. So I started my apprenticeship at 17, and our apprenticeship is 4.5 years long.
Yeah.
So we was there, and then I qualified, and I stayed in Newmarket for quite a few years, building up my own thing, working for other farriers, just trying to build up more knowledge and experience with other people. And then I moved down to this part of the world in Oxfordshire, Lambourne, about 6 years ago now. And I carried on working for other people down here, again, being experienced, getting a bit more. And then I had an opportunity to start my own thing, which I've taken, and, you know, touch wood, it's going really well.
Claire Vet Physio went straight in with, do you prefer Newmarket or Lambourne?
See, I was asked this a little while ago, and it's quite a difficult question, because obviously Lambourne I enjoy for personal reasons, you know, but Newmarket is I don't know, it's hard because I don't want any of my clients to watch this in case they think I want to jump back up board. But
I like as equally.
Yeah, I personally, it's difficult, isn't it? But I like them both. There you go.
Yeah, I do too. Lovely, lovely parts of the world. Emily Cole Illustrations put, hopefully we won't cause the first boodle banter divorce. Yeah, so do we. That is not the point of having Ash to join us today. Do you know one of the questions I put out there, questions for all the people that join me on my lives? The one question that everybody asks me, I couldn't believe it. I would have thought it's fairly obvious, Ash. Does it hurt your back? I got asked that so much. Does it really hurt your back?
The answer is yes. It does hurt the back. It does hurt the back, but you become immune to the pain, and it's just the norm. It's the norm, you know. It's, you know, you're doubled over for 6-7 hours of the day, and you just adjust to it. You know, it was probably harder for me when I first started than it is now.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's just your life as you know it forever.
Yes, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Obviously, Emma gives you lovely back massages every day, doesn't she? Because, you know, she is the best wife ever.
I don't know, it's difficult to answer that question, if I'm honest with you.
We can move on. You're in a safe place here, Ash, don't worry. So the answer to the many, many questions that people wanted to know was, yes, your back really hurts most of the time.
Yes, but if people want to know, the most common problem that farriers have is with their knees and wrists before anything else.
Really?
Yeah, I know many farriers that suffer with carpal tunnel in their wrists.
Yeah.
And a lot of farriers' knees go on them first.
Well, there you go. We all immediately assumed it was the back.
No, thankfully, I've not had any issues with my knees and wrists. I just have an achy back.
I was just about to say, you're just a manky back.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh, that's all right then. And then the next most popular question I was asked, this made me laugh out loud because it felt a bit weird, but it's with good intent. Do you like clients watching you, or do you prefer to be left alone? Now, of course, I think you probably are mainly working by yourself, aren't you?
Yeah. Do you know what? Answering that question is, I actually enjoy when I leave the racing yards and I go off hot shoeing and stuff. I actually enjoy interacting with the clients because it's a bit. The reason to be fair, I mean, it's such a lucky position where I don't really have to go hot shoeing if I didn't want to, but I do it for my own sanity. Because racing, from a farrier's point of view, we call it the office job. You go in at 6:30, you're in box. You know, it's you and the horse almost 80% of the day, and it's just nice to have that. Off we go, see somebody, have a chat. How's your day? And you don't see them for 6 weeks or 5 weeks, and having that is really nice. And they bring you a coffee and some biscuits, you know, and have a chat, and then you realise, God, I've been here for an hour and a half. I mean, you needed to trip your pony, you know, but you've been chatting away, and that's just what keeps the job really interesting. All jokes aside, you know, it's just nice to have that breakaway.
I love part of the joys for me is the banter with my blacksmith every 6 weeks or so. And like you, I take him a coffee and a bacon sarnie if he wants something like that. And we'd sit down and have a proper gossip.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you sometimes feel that with your hot shoe clients, you're a bit of a therapist? Do they end up telling you stuff and you're like, all right, Maureen, I don't want to know that much about your person. I know, I've done it in the past on my blacksmith, and I swear half the time he's chewing the horse going, oh, Vic, shut up. But I can't help myself. It's therapy.
No, I do have a few like that, to be fair. A few that moan about their husbands and their boyfriends. Mainly it's home life. And you like listening, you're like, yeah, yeah. And I've sort of developed a system now where you sort of go, oh, right, really? Oh, right. It's a routine. You got to show a bit of like sympathy in the conversation. So no, you've got half an interest.
You've got to inject emotion at the right time, Ash. Otherwise they know you're not paying any attention. Just every now and again, you've got to go, shit, really? Excuse my French. But, you've got to make sure they know that you're engaged in this conversation. It was really interesting. I thought I'd better just mention it, actually. Some people might not understand what you and I are talking about with hot shoe clients as opposed to racehorse. So can you just talk to us all as if we don't know what we're doing for a moment about what the difference is?
Racehorses, the way they're shod technically wise, they're cold shod, so there's no forge fire and smoke, basically. Main reason for this is health and safety, because they're all in their stables with shave-ins, and also they're at a young age where their feet are some of their feet just couldn't hack that sort of style of shoeing, of hot shoeing. Yeah. And again, it sounds hypocritical, being a hypocrite here, because as them horses get rehomed into becoming people's pets, we then adjust them to be hot shod.
Yeah.
So there is a time in some racehorses' life that they will learn to be hot shod and their feet can take it a bit better. And mainly that's because they're fed differently when they become someone's pet. All jokes aside, the diet plays a massive part. Yeah. So that's basically the difference, really, racing and so-called hot shoeing. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there's people I go to hot shoe as such, and some of their horses need to be cold shod because they don't like the hot shoeing.
Yeah, I had that with my first horse, which was a disastrous ex-race horse. I can remember telling my blacksmith I had a new horse, and there was this pause, and he went, right, what have you got? And I'm like, I got a 16-1 ex-race horse. And he went, has it ever been hot shod? And I'm like, don't know what you're talking about, because I was literally 14. And that thing could never be hot shod. And my poor blacksmith was just like, can you just please never buy one of these again? Because I'm just one of those people that just didn't work for me. But it never even crossed my mind, Ash, that these racehorses, I would never have even as asked when I was buying it, because you just don't know, do you?
No, it's true. It's true. It's something that's quite missed quite often. And to be fair, most farriers, even their race farriers or everyday so-called farriers, every time you get a new horse, it's the first question, no matter whether it's an ex-race horse or a coloured cob. You always say, has it ever been hot shod? It's just I know, because there's techniques that we can use to help the horses get a really good technique that I've used, and I've caught it off someone, all jokes aside, off Instagram a couple of years ago, is when you cut the hoof off and you got like a big chunk of clippings, is to get the hot shoe in front of the horse and put that clipping on the hot shoe and watch it normally smoke, and the horse can see and hear it. Yeah. Instead of picking its leg up and singeing the shoe straight on its foot, at least then the horse can be familiar with the sound, because that's what 9 times out of 10 is causing the horse to panic, is the sound of the burning on. Yeah. So you do that? Yeah, I do it to like new horses that I come across and shoe. Even if like they give you that sense that, oh, this is a sensible horse, it's just a peace of mind. I just get either a bit of the frog that you trimmed off, or even a bit of the hoof wall you trimmed off, and just get the hot shoe and just put it plonk it on top, and it'll start smoking and soldering like it would do if you used to burn it on. So then the horse isn't panicked when you pick up its back leg and it can't see what you're doing. Also, there's abundance of smoke and sizzling happens, and it terrifies itself.
You see, as soon as you say it like that, it makes absolute perfect sense, and I don't know why I've never seen it being done before. Yeah.
So no, it's just little tricks of the trade as you go along, and farriery in itself is simple. It's everything about it, every technique and everything we do for these animals is just simple. It's just common sense. Our job, it really is.
Emily Cole wants to know. It's very important to Emily Cole, Ash. She's a pet fanatic. She wants to know, do you have a dog that comes with you on your jobs?
I do. Would you like to see her?
Yeah, Emily will go nuts.
Oh, I get her. Lady,
What's she
come
called?
here. She's called
Lady.
Lady. Yeah.
Oh,
Come here. Oh, she's in the front room with them. She's just coming now. Come here. Where are you?
you ready
Come
for
here.
this?
I'm waiting. Where is she, Em?
She's very well trained, isn't she?
She's
Is it
asleep.
an assistant?
Yeah, she's only 8 months old.
Lady. Oh my God, she's beautiful.
Yeah, she doesn't know what's going on right now.
She's only 8 months old.
Yeah.
Oh God. And what does she do? Does she sit in the van, Ash, or does she roam around the yard, or what?
Well,
What's she like?
during the morning, she sits in the van mainly because of the horses are in and out of the stables, and then by about 10:30, I just let her have the roam of the yard, and off she goes.
When you're doing your apprenticeship, is there an actual module on the dog to have when you're a blacksmith? I mean, it's quite a role.
Yeah, no, unfortunately not. We didn't get taught that. We had to make that up our own as we got
God,
qualified.
talk about throwing you in the deep end.
I know.
Then Lucy Fox dressage, she's straight in there. Have you ever been injured by a horse when shoeing?
Yes is the answer to that. More so when I was an apprentice, to be fair, because you're learning the tricks of the trade. And I was in hospital 3 or 4 times throughout 4 years.
Christ. Do you have to wear a hat when you're an apprentice? Like
No.
a safety hat? Oh, you see, I would have thought in this day and age that would have been compulsory.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think not. It's because we just can't physically do it. You know, it's hard enough as it is, sort of thing. And they try and make us wear safety glasses, but in the height of summer and you're sweating, it's almost like you're swimming. You can't see what you're doing.
Yeah. And that's no fun for anyone other than the person watching you. So I completely get it. My farrier is a gossip queen, but gives the best hugs. Would you consider yourself either of those? A good hugger, a good gossip person?
I'd probably go for more the gossip because of obviously I don't really want to go around hugging people in case we've got the wrong end of it's not my thing.
The old trouble and strife. Yeah, exactly. I get that.
Pretty.
I heard a lot of people refer to farriers as the fifth emergency service. I was going to say fourth, but then I remembered the lifeguards. You have to humour Emily. She's the best at random questions. Do you feel you're the fifth emergency service, Ash?
Sometimes, yeah, I do get the odd call on a Sunday or a Saturday evening, Friday evening, usually. Um, Believe it or not, the people that leave me alone the most is the race yards, and they're the ones that have the more problems than anybody else. Only
Really?
because I've said to them, yeah, only because I said if you ring me on a Sunday, I'll charge you 4 times what I normally would. So they say, well, wait till Monday.
Yeah, exactly. When's been the worst time you've been called? Have you been called on Christmas Day because they want to go to a Boxing Day meet or anything like that?
Christmas Eve is probably the worst one I've had. I tell you, I had one. It wasn't an actual emergency, but when your phone rings, you think it is going to be. So
Yeah.
it was like New Year's Day. I think it was the year before last, and obviously I had a bit of a sore head, and my phone
Yeah.
starts ringing at 9:30 in the morning, and I go, oh, no, what's happened? Hello, and it's some bloke asking me when am I going to be coming in to shoot a certain horse behind, and due to the sore head, I was quite rude and abrupt to him,
Yes.
and yeah, and I said, I don't know if you know what day it is, but I mean, I don't work until the 3rd of January, so your horse can either wait till then or after. And, I've had them sort of calls on most inconvenient days.
I think it's just the nature of the job, isn't it? My most memorable to date was a return request on Christmas Day, and where they would obviously open the whatever it was, and it wasn't right. But then it got followed with the 400 question marks within half an hour because I didn't respond to the return request on Christmas Day. So because of that, I think I might have actually ignored them till the 4th of January. It was something like that. I was like, no, that does not work for me. Now, whilst we were just chatting, you've literally just had about 1 million comments about the dog. And I'm afraid to say it looks like Lady might be more popular than you. We might have to get Lady live, Ash. Emily's asked again, are people more excited to meet Lady or you? And is she a Jack?
Do you know what? I know that her dad was a Patterdale, and and I'm not 100% sure what the mum was, because I got her off a friend of mine. And I think her Her mum was a terrier type dog. Honestly, I couldn't tell you the breeding to be exact.
She's just a perfect Heinz 57 or whatever. 47? 57? What is
No,
that?
it's 57.
It's 57. Now, are you always a later farrier or always early? It's always one or the other. I never know a farrier to turn up at the time they actually say. Mine was 2 hours early on Tuesday. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's, what are you, Ash?
I'm actually honestly an early person. I always book people too late, and then I realise, oh crikey, I've got an hour, and I ring them and say, do you reckon I can turn up 20 minutes from now? Your horse isn't ready for me. And I'm the first one to moan if I get there on time and they've only just brought the horse in from the field in winter. And it's don't talk to me.
I've been asked as well. Where's my question here? Where is it? Does it annoy you when horses' legs are wet and dirty?
Extremely, yeah.
What one thing would you ask a horse owner to do before you arrive? Like a hot shoe climb? Would it be the legs?
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt.
Get them
Without
in.
a shadow of doubt, yeah.
Would you rather them clean and wet or dry and dusty?
Dry and dusty.
Dry and dusty. So hot shoe clients, whatever else you do, even before that cup of coffee, make sure your horse's legs are dry.
Pretty much, yeah. If you want to keep the good side of the farrier, yeah.
I think Emily Cole illustrations, I could be making this up. I've seen a really good picture of someone going, I got the horse ready for you. And the horse is basically in a rug looking immaculate, but they've left the legs all muddy and dusty. And the farrier's like, oh, God.
Yeah, no, the favourite, the bestest one ever is when you get a job booked in at, say, 3 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon in February. You get there at 5 to 3 and they're just bringing them in. You see them physically leading them in from the field. And they go, you're early. I went, 5 to 3, yeah. Yeah, I said, how quick are your legs going to dry? In 5 minutes.
Do you ever go and get horses in from the field if you know where they are or whose they are?
I don't anymore, to be fair. I mean, again, as time goes on, you sort of get that respect a bit more when people know who you are and where you've been and how long you've been doing it. No, I'm very lucky. But when I first had the L plates removed, oh yeah, I was walking an acre to get my horse in because I needed to shoe it because I needed the money, And you offer that service, believe it or not. You ring them up and you say, oh, you want to shoe your horse? Yeah, no problem. 12 o'clock, okay? Oh, I won't be there. He'll be out. Don't worry, I'll get it in. Is he okay? Yeah, it's fine. No problem. And then you look and you realise you got 4 acres to go trudging this pony across and it's no fence and it thinks it's a great time to have fun now. And you spend an hour trying to catch it and you just think, what's the point?
Whilst the owners sat at the end of the driveway rubbing their hands. Oh, he's not in now. I'll arrive.
Oh.
So if we have hoof issues, my sister always calls our farrier before the vet. Do you get that a lot?
Yes, yeah, we do, to be fair. With anything really, racehorses or out, the hot shoeing clients, they'll be like, oh, my horse isn't any sort of lameness really. They always best start with the bottom and work your way up. One, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And two, 70% of the time it probably is your foot going a bit wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And you don't mind that? You'd rather be called before the vet, would you?
You have to sort of have faith on you. If the owner rings you first, you like to think they know what they're looking at. If they had to ring the vet first, you automatically think it's a bit more serious. But I'm happy with either. The only thing that, from a farrier's point of view, that we just hope that the vets they use are compliant with each other. Yeah. There's a massive thing that goes on with vets and farriers, or have loggerheads, and it's not like that at all. To be fair, it's all about a person really. If you get on with the person, everything's fine, and it just depends on your attitude.
Yeah. Well, of course, and you can apply that to everything, really, couldn't you?
100%, yeah.
You would love to be Lucy Fox dressage farrier. She blow dries her pony's legs in the winter before the farrier. I mean, if you have a top 10 client list? My blacksmith always used to joke with me about whether or not I dropped out of the top 10 list. I mean, Lucy, the one, if she was blow drying pony's legs, surely that can't beat that.
No, I mean, I do, if I was to have a top 10 list, I know in my own who would be up at number one. But that would definitely help get up there, that's for sure. No, it's not the wife before you ask.
Oh, for God's sake! You literally had the opportunity to be husband of the year there. You just had to put your name.
I am husband of the year. I shoot him for free.
Yeah, she doesn't actually like you that much, Ash, but you know, you're a farrier, you'll do. Emily's put, I lived on a yard and for some reason the farrier had her number. Well, she's a very attractive lady. I can't think why he had her number. Number of times I had to go get horses in wearing my slippers. Loved living there. Yeah. I bet if there was an Emily on every yard, you'd all have her number and be like, oh, can you just get so-and-so's horse in? Now, I agree with your wife here. Farriers have a much better eye for lameness than any vet, in my opinion. But yeah, surely, because surely that's the whole point of your job. I mean, it's not just a hoof you're ever dealing with, is it?
No, I mean it's quite a complex thing, really, the whole situation. Because yeah, I mean we look at, believe it or not, during your apprenticeship and when you go to college, you're not really shown lame horses. So to build up that eye, it's
Yeah.
it's experience. Yeah, you watch videos and stuff, but it's very hard to like magic up a horse with a corn or an abscess for you to work on there and then. You know, a lot of it is done at home with your boss. And so, you know, I was very lucky. Again, I think that's one of the pluses of working with racing, because to see a sound racehorse is a rarity.
Yeah.
So you're constantly always looking at horses that are slightly off, you know, and then you have these markers of, you know, they do them out of tenths, out of fifths, and you start to build up. And yeah, I mean, you do get to see a lot more, and whatever you do at the bottom affects the top, you know, with the shoulders, backs, hips, you know, pelvis, all that stuff. It's a lot to go on that can affect everything. So we are sort of like more skilled, but saying that at the same time, believe it or not, if a horse has an abscess and it affects its sensitive structures, i.e. blood vessels and within the foot, technically, as a farrier, we are not allowed to go digging for that.
No. I know that. Yeah.
So,
But you would think
but you
you
still
would.
get the call first. Yeah, I know. We still get the call first. And, you know, a lot of us say, this is too deep, you know, we need help, or you find it, hopefully, and then it will all be better tomorrow.
Is there an ailment or a condition that you actually secretly quite enjoy dealing with?
What, that one, an abscess or something else?
Well, is there ever just like a situation that someone goes, oh, I think I've got an abscess, or I think my horse has got flat feet? Is there just a particular problem that actually you think, I'm a bit of a specialist at that and I quite enjoy it?
I do enjoy digging out a good abscess. You know, unfortunately, I don't see the real proper ones that, you know, you get from a muddy field. I see like the racehorse ones that are quite pathetic. You know, it's
Yes.
like a little gas bubble that pops, and it's like, oh, I'm going to die, my legs hanging off it. It's not. But if I was to be honest with you, the thing I enjoy the most out of problems, and it's not a so-called ailment, it's poorly conditioned footed horses.
Yeah.
I'm very confident on making a poorly footed horse look quite good, you know, because of the techniques and skills we have in this day and age.
Yeah.
So when it comes to glue shoes and foot reconstructions and stuff like that, that is probably one of the things I enjoy the most out of everything.
I think you're being very modest as well. I know you can probably see these comments too. I'm sure you're very good at everything you do. We wouldn't have you on here if you didn't have a good reputation. Trust me, I've done my research.
Oh dear.
Is there a product that you endorse as a blacksmith? Because there's a lot of them out there at the moment. Or is it they use anything to moisturize a hoof or whatever? Is there a brand you love?
I mean, well, yeah, I mean, I'm not an ambassador for anybody, or I don't promote anything because I get anything from it. I use what I think is good on the market for my own self. So obviously, you know, I'm a great fan of Kevin Bacon. I
Me
think the
too.
stuff is very good. I am a fan of the Keratex for bad, weak-footed horses. So really, the household names, you know. So yeah, I mean, they're the only thing. Hoof supplements. Now, hoof supplement is a big topic because one, there's so many out there. Two, so many are so expensive.
Yeah, right.
But and the thing is that the thing of all of them, it's all about time. It's trying to explain that to clients. You know, you say, look, put them on a biotin supplement or something just to help, and then you go back 5 weeks later and they say, has it made an improvement? And you're like, you've got to give it time. Give it time. Ask
Yeah.
me this in 8-9 months time, not 5 weeks. I think that sometimes we just get so impatient because it costs a lot of money and you want to see results like this.
Yeah. Is 8-9 months the time it would take for like new hoof growth to come through properly?
Yeah, so if you basically resect the whole hoof wall from heel to heel, so all it's got is this laminae, that will
Yeah.
regrow again within 9 to 12 months. The whole capsule will regrow.
So if somebody buys a bag, I'm asking you now for me, if somebody buys a bag of biotin from me in the shop, it's got to be worth a try if they've got a horse with poor hoof quality. But I need to say to them, really, you need to have it on it for 8 to 9 months before you can come back and accurately say to me if it's working or not.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
That's
But then
super.
but then people have also got to understand that just like humans, you know, my hair grows curly, and my wife's hair grows straight. We're all different. So some horses will grow foot down and others will
Yeah.
grow foot forward, you
Yeah.
know, and on the bad footed horses, either way are just as crucial. You know, if you've got toe that's growing, you've got toe to bring back. If you've got foot growing down, you've got good foot coming above it. You know, so I just don't want people thinking, oh, you get put on this hoof supplement, it's an all round fix. It's not always, you know, it will help with some things, you know, it will help. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell it at the end of the day. That's my opinion, you know.
No, and I can only go off what sells well in the shop as well. We'll give everything a whirl, and two of our best-selling hoof products is the Kevin Bacon just original hoof dressing or the liquid. People just slather that on every day, so it obviously works for many. And then my second bestseller is the Keratex hoof hardener. But that I think goes more to the unshod or barefoot customer than anything else.
Yeah, sorry, no, the one other advice I'd give everybody, whether they got a racehorse, cob, or anything, is just don't over grease or oil feet, because oiling and greasing will eventually dry feet out as well.
Really?
Yeah.
So we could be doing too much if we do a daily application.
Some products will, yeah, believe it or not, you know, especially if you've got a proper hoof oil.
Okay. Yeah. Actually, my blacksmith used to say that to me about the old-fashioned hoof oil, and just be like, you don't need to put that one on every day. And that's kind of all he would say. He was a very polite man. He obviously also didn't want to ruin the enjoyment of his 9-year-old customer who loved grooming her pony. So he was like, every day. I was like, okay. You have been asked a controversial question, Ash, and I don't mind if you'd rather not answer it, because we're not here to make anyone feel uncomfortable. But you have been asked, what's your opinion on barefoot? Do you have an opinion, or are you far too polite?
No, I have an opinion on it, believe it or not. When they say barefoot, I'm guessing they're meaning by the way of like fully exercising their horse with no shoes on. For me personally, I don't think that's a successful route, if I'm honest with you. If you're going to start trudging your horse down the road with no shoes on, I think, one, you're going to create issues further along down the line, may not straight away. Secondly, I don't think it's very good for safety because there's no grip on these roads.
That'd be my then, yeah.
Yeah, my theory on having horses stripped off shoes for a period of time, I'm a massive fan. I think it's one of the best things you can do for them.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I try and endorse it with my trainer in Lambourne. You know, when the horses are just doing 8 weeks of trot, they're on an artificial surface. I say trot them with no shoes on. You know, just take them all off. If they're on a surface, just trot them with no shoes. And so many horses, we've tried that, because a lot of people, especially racing, they're like, "Oh, are you sure? Are you sure? You know, small thoroughbred feet, blah blah blah." I said, just see what happens. If it can take it, if it can't, we'll put the shoes back on. It's no problem.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is within 8 weeks, you trim them probably once in the middle, and then you know, keep them all rounded up, and you find they come back with like almost like a lovely blank canvas, ready for the next season. And
Right.
you've got more to work with, you know, because at the end of the day, the horse's feet will naturally correct themselves in some respects, you know,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, you can't go around and trim all them New Forest ponies that running around wild. So why are they not laying down dying? You know, their feet are looking after themselves somehow, you know.
So if I turned around to you, Ash, and said, "Oh, I'm going to turn my horse away for the winter," would you ask me what the minimum amount of time is? Like, if
Yes.
I say 4 weeks or more, would you be like, "Get those shoes off"?
I'd probably, if you say minimum for a horse to have any benefit, you'd look at 5.5, 6 weeks minimum,
Fine.
personally.
If any,
If you say to me,
if anyone's watching, that's the time scale we're looking at.
um, and then I just think that if you're going to have like 4 weeks less, you know, maybe we'll just take the hinds off at least, you know, and leave the
Yeah.
fronts on maybe,
Yeah.
and away you go.
Now, interestingly, Cornish Connemara's put, "I always think there's more grip with no shoes."
It's each their own. I mean, it depends on the shoe as well, because I mean, so many shoes now are been manufactured over years to make our life as far as easier to apply them. But I mean, you've got a lot of I had a client actually. I was putting these shoes on, been using them all the time, never had a problem. And she's got a big like Irish sports horse. She's got to be 17-1, nice stamp of an animal. And I was showing him, and she come up to me, going, "I keep slipping everywhere. I keep slipping." I'm like, "Oh really? Oh really?" And what it is these shoes had almost like a solid toe, not a concave going all the way round. So I ended up just swapping the shoe over to like the concave one.
Yeah.
No problem at all, because there's more of a grip. It does, and then obviously you go down the whole road nails, road pins, stuff like that to stop slipping. So I think again, it's just each preference. You know, if your horse is happy barefoot and not slipping and no one's hurt, carry on. You know,
Absolutely. If it's not broken, why fix it? Absolutely.
exactly, yeah.
Do you make your own shoes ever, or do you buy them?
Now I buy them, but there's certain horses that I shoe that need handmade shoes because they don't sell them.
Oh, so
So
what happens? You just don't shoe them, or you make
no,
them?
no, I end up making, so certain horses have problems with their feet, so they might need a certain bar shoe or a fancy sort of shoe. So because they don't sell them, I just make them out of the forge on site and then just put them on.
Did you ever succumb to a customer wanting the ultra fashionable rose gold shoe or the copper nails that I saw floating around recently?
Well, believe it or not, the copper shoes I was one. I'm not trying to sound this out to make my head ring, but I was one of the first to use them in this country on the racehorse.
No way! The copper
Yeah,
shoe.
yeah.
Tell us more.
We had this copper plated race plate that came out, I think about 3-4 years ago now. The actual whole plate was made out of copper. It was copper coated, sorry.
Yeah.
We had a really good horse going to run in a really big race in France, and I plated it in them. You know, I was given to them by the manufacturers to trial blaze them, and the thing ended up winning a £500,000 race in them. You know,
No
and
way.
yeah, and and then I ended up. It's funny because I was talking to them before it started, and I ended up having a article written about it in America. I was interviewed people from America over it, and they were like trying to say basically the whole copper thing is for hygiene for horses' feet. That's how it all came around. And the copper plates were just to add a bit of suave, you know, a bit of flash bling bling. And that's what happened. Yeah. So I do use the copper plates. I haven't been asked to shoe a horse like hot shoeing or anything like that, one of the big heavier type horses, but I have used them on race horses.
So, was there any benefit that you were aware of with the copper nails? Was there anything
Yeah.
about that? Oh, do you know what that one was?
Well, yeah. So the copper nails, basically, they were trying to. It was a lot of research done into it, and they had like horses' feet with steel nails and copper nails, and the copper nails were showing less. If you got a white foot, they
Yeah.
were showing less blackening around the nail holes where the nails penetrate the foot.
Right.
So that reduces the chance of creating an infection or an abscess with a nail and stuff like that. And that's why it is. And it's become now fashion more so than anything.
But there
You
was a
know,
purpose.
yes, yeah, the copper nail. And from a Farriers point of view, when they brought out the copper nails, we were like, that makes sense, you know, because you're penetrating the foot. So the copper is sort of going into the foot. Whereas when they brought out the copper plates, I thought, what are you going to do? You know, they're not, the foot doesn't absorb as such. You
No.
know, when the feet expand onto the shoe and it oxidizes the heels on the shoe. Because if you ever take your horse's shoe off and look at the underside that makes contact, and if you look at where the heels are, it's usually very, very, very shiny. And that's because where the horse has got natural expansion, it's rubbing your shoe away from the underside. But apart from that, I didn't see the purpose on a copper plate. The nails, yeah.
Just to go straight on to a different question now, because it's a great one. Would you recommend stud holes all around? I've only ever had backs.
I personally do like stud holes all around. And I'm not a fan of one stud hole on the outside. I'd much rather put two stud holes in.
Yeah.
Because if you come across a part of the ground that's uneven, you end up jarring more side up at one. And I'm also very so-called anal where I put my stud holes. I'm not a fan of putting them right at the back of the heels. I always look for the last heel now to the point of heel, so right in the middle of them two. Reason being with this is that, again, because the studs we get nowadays are so high and so big, you end up knuckling the horse up. You're jacking him right up on his point of heel. And then you cause problems, i.e. corns and stuff like that, because the point of impact is direct on that heel. Whereas if you push them forward a bit, the horse has got more balance as such, and it can sort of rotate and find its own comfort zone.
And then Activate Your Seat went on to ask, do you recommend medial and lateral studs or just lateral studs behind?
Again, both studs. I prefer.
What in each?
Yeah, so two studs per shoe.
Yeah. And actually, that's always what I tend to advise when people come into the shop as well, Ash, because one of the biggest things that concerns me is there's an understandable, I'm not saying anybody's wrong, but there's a real misconception about studs, isn't there? Like, people seem to think that the bigger and pointier, the better. And I'm actually, and then only want to put one in. And I'm just like, please don't.
No, I mean, I find the best way of doing it is to say to that person, look, let me screw it out on the outside of your sandal and walk around from it for a couple of minutes for me and see how you feel. And that's what the horse will feel like, exactly the same.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think we could probably have a live just on studs and how to use them correctly. So that's what we'll get you. We'll get you and Emma to come back on that one, and you can do that.
Horses don't have stud holes at the moment.
Right, guys, we've only got 10 minutes left, Ash. Is the time flying for you? Are you having fun? Are you relaxed?
It does, yeah. I can't believe how quick it's gone.
Now, one question that I was asked, what's the best part of your job and the worst part of your job? Is that something that you can answer easily?
The first question I can. The best part of my job as being a farrier in the industry I'm in is the success of the horses. I mean, it's such a thrill to be part of the big winners on the big days and the big races. You know, and I'm very lucky because I get to go to Royal Ascot every year, top hand tails. And, you know, the year before last, I was in the winners enclosure because we had a winner, and it's great. And that is the icing on the cake for my job.
Of course.
The worst part of my job, I think, is winter.
Just generally winter.
Being outside in the black and the wet is not ideal.
Maybe now that you are established, you can have an opening interview, and that can involve, do you have indoor facilities or a heated stable? and then you can establish if you've got room to take on more clients.
That's actually not a bad idea. I might keep that myself, you know.
I'll do it for you. Yeah, that's fine. Or Emily, she's pretty good at the random questions. Jen's put, I bet some of the owners are the worst part, but you're far too professional to ever say that, aren't you? That's like me saying my customers are the worst part.
But again, you know, I'm so lucky because I've got so limited amount of customers, and I'm in that. I sort of have that opportunity. If I go to a new client and if they're not what I think, I'm like, I'm busy. No, not going back.
I'm not sure I've ever bought my blacksmith a thank you gift. So this, I'm feeling guilty even reading this to you. What's the best thank you gift you've ever received?
Do you know what? I've never had an actual. I had this. I still got this client now, actually, but she's only got one horse and she had a handful, and she had an ex-race horse that had terrible tendon issues, and we got it sound and it was going lovely and it was a really good dressage mover, and they took it to dressage and it was winning rosettes, and one day she just rocked up with a crate of beer and a pack of sweets and said thank you.
Oh, perfection.
And that's it, you know. But I don't really have. I'm very Christmas time. You always get bottles of wine and stuff. It's very kind, and you know we don't expect it, to be fair. And so I don't really have a best gift. You know, it's just nice to.
Does Emma get to go to the winners' enclosures with you, or do you go by yourself?
No, Royal Ascot, she has to come.
Yes, good.
You know, but if I go to like the other meets that are not so blasé, I go on my own. Funny enough.
And my question to you has come from Emma. What happened 48 hours before your wedding, Ash?
Well, this is no. I'll answer this. It's fine. It's actually non-horse related.
Okay. You've done nearly an
So
hour.
yeah, so I was driving to work Thursday morning, and I was involved in a car crash,
Oh no.
and I was taken to hospital with a suspected broken neck.
48 hours before your wedding, oh my God.
Yeah, so I'm on a stretcher and I'm in resus, and 2 days before the wedding, and they wanted to operate on me because I didn't have a broken neck, thankfully, but I had a prolapsed disc in my neck.
Oh, Ash, this is awful. I thought this was going to be a funny story.
Well, she brought this up.
Yeah.
So anyway, basically, all in all, I sort of just said, no, I'm fine. We'll crack on. I stayed in hospital for one night. I came out Friday night, and the wedding went ahead. Thankfully, it was a great day. And that was pretty much what was quite funny was that the whole ward knew me as the bloke who needs to get out because he's getting married.
Yeah, I'm not bloody surprised. And when you rang Emma to say, I've been in a car accident and I'm on my way to hospital on a stretcher, did she think you were taking the mick?
I didn't ring her. I couldn't ring her. I couldn't move. I was in agony.
No, this is not what I was expected it would be either. I thought this was going to be a generically hilarious story.
We find it hilarious now. It's almost a year ago.
I thought it was going to be a lads. I thought you were going to say you were handcuffed to a lamppost in bloody Dublin or something. Not it.
I think I'd have been in more trouble for that than the car crash.
Emma, were you sympathetic? I'm not sure I would have been. Yeah. Was Emma bridezilla? That's quite a good question. Did she get bridezilla before your wedding?
Building up to the wedding itself, she was getting a bit tense now and then, and I'm quite laid back when it comes. I'm more stressed at work than I am at home about stuff.
Yes, yeah, that's fair enough.
So I sort of just let it go over. I mean, the best part of the whole build up to the wedding was the lack of RSVPs, and the first 2 days of sending them out was coming. And she was like, "We had no RSVPs." I said, "We sent them in March. They haven't got to return them till June. What's the rush?"
And nobody ever RSVPs to the wedding. It's part of the stress of trying to work out how many you've got to cater for, isn't it? That's just all part of the bundle.
Yeah.
Did you go back for your operation after the wedding? We need to finish this. And are you okay now?
Yeah, I'm all good now. I didn't go back. I had intensive sort of like physio. I went and saw a really good chiropractor privately, and believe it or not, it really helped. And thankfully I'm okay. I do feel like pain sometimes in my right shoulder from the accident, but it's not too bad.
Was there where there's blame, there's a claim, or did you not take advantage of that?
I couldn't because the little critter done a runner.
No!
Yeah, it was me and my. The thing is, though, I'm now known in Lambourne as the bloke who tried to get out of the wedding.
Right, say something really lovely about your wife, for God's sake.
Yeah, they were like, it's easier ways of getting out of it than trying to kill yourself. But no, I actually blame my trainer because as I was driving to work, my phone lit up and me stupidly looked to the passenger seat to see what it said. And I looked up and there was a monk jack. And I'm not being funny. 9 times out of 10, I'd carry on. Yeah. But I just literally swerved. I lost control of the car and I hit a telegraph pole. Thankfully, that snapped because if it hadn't, I probably wouldn't be talking to you.
Oh, crikey Moses.
Yeah, when you see the pictures and stuff. not ideal.
Now, very quickly, just to go completely off curveball, because again, this is quite a key question from Emily. I've always been intrigued when they judge shoeing at shows. What is it they're looking for? I've always wondered that, Ash. How do you get to win a shoeing competition?
I've only ever entered one, and I've won one. And I didn't know it was entered. I was shoeing, I forgot their names. They were very big at Hoy's. Name comes to me anyway. They done the trick I said about bringing a horse in muddy. It was going to the Suffolk show. And I looked and I was furious. And I was like, So I literally shod this horse with probably the most unprofessionalist I've ever been and just rushed it because it was pouring with rain. The horse was caked and the horse ain't easy to do. And I banged the set on. They rang me up and said, bloody Nobby won best shod horse. And I laughed. And what they're actually looking for, they're looking for traditional shoeing. You know, if you've got a horse that's going in for a competition and it's best shod horse in that competition, they'll see if your horse has got handmade shoes on.
Yeah.
And if your fronts have toe clips.
Yeah.
And your hinds have normal side clip. And that's just basically it. You know, they're not fans of side clip fronts, machine made shoes, you know, because they just try and keep the tradition at them shows, really.
Yeah. So that's purely a traditional good craft. Now, before the countdown clock starts, how and where can people find your business? Are you on Instagram? Well, I know you are, but what's your handle on Instagram? Are you on Facebook?
So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and my handle is AB_Farrier. And my my private Instagram is Sir Berry 88.
Sir Berry.
Sir Berry 88.
Oh God, hang on. Don't tell me that 88 is the year that you're born.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I'm 32.
Oh, for God's sake! And what area do you cover for shoeing? And if you ever have any vacancy, because most blacksmiths don't, but what areas do you cover?
Well, I sort of mainly cover the Oxfordshire, Berkshire sort of area and Wiltshire. And availability-wise, I am quite flexible with taking on clients, as long as, you know, to be fair, it's clients that have got more than a couple of horses and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy to discuss anything with anybody, really.
Brilliant.
If it works for both, then it's a go, you know. If it's not for them or it's not for me, then good luck.
And again, if anybody's watching this video afterwards, because these go out onto YouTube and everything, so you're forever out in the public domain now. Obviously, they can always contact Equiboogle and we'll always forward on your details anyway. So don't panic. We can find a way to get you in contact.
I do have a YouTube channel as well, just in case.
Well, there you go. What's that? Is that Amy Farrier as well?
Yeah.
Very good. I think you do need to do some Farrier diaries. Did you see that comment?
I did see that come up, yeah. I have always said I'm going to write a biography when I'm 45.
Okay, well, your age is away from that yet. Yeah, I feel old as well, mate, so don't worry. Ash, thank you so much. You don't have to worry about doing anything because I will end it from here, but thank you so much for your time.
Absolute pleasure. It's been lovely to meet you all.
Say hi to Emma for us. And everybody, have an amazing rest of your day. Any questions, fire them over. Otherwise, I will be back tomorrow. Bye, Ash. Thanks so much.
See ya. Bye. Take care.